So Cody Stavenhagen at The Athletic connected some dots. First of all, he said Scott Harris, Tigers president, said today he expects Javier Baez to be the Tigers opening day shortstop. Sounds like position players, right-handed pitcher, outfielder, a right-handed hitting outfielder and a left-handed hitting infielder will be among the team's top priorities. Also, a lot of indication Harris is open to anything building the roster. So a right-handed hitting outfielder, a left-handed hitting infielder. So Stavenhagen then went and got a list of the best left-handed hitting infielders available.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read some of the names. Anthony Rizzo, Rognet Odur, Brandon Belt, Didi Gregorius, Robinson Cano, no thanks. Just to name a few. Matt Carpenter is one. Some switch hitters. Carlos Santana, Josh Bell, Nico Goodrum, Judd Lowry, Cesar Hernandez. So I don't know if anything moves the needle there where I said a name and you screamed yes.
No, I didn't. And I'm, how many of these, some of those guys are like first base only.
Yeah. First base DH type.
Yeah. So, that's kind of occupied at this point. Although if you find an upgrade, you always do that. You're hoping that Torkelson bounces back and has a good season next year, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to take it bats away from him. I think he needs them. He started to come on when he came back to the team in September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of those names are just they're not going to move the needle at all. You're looking for somebody, maybe a third baseman that can hit left-handed or switch hitter. But they're Jonathan Scope opted back in, so he's there at second, and he plays really well defensively. And Scott Harris thinks he said something to the effect of, well, he wouldn't be the first player to bounce back after a poor season when he's got a track record of being able to hit. And he mentioned, as Stavenhagen mentioned there, that he's going to be that Baez is definitely their everyday shortstop. So you're looking at the corner spots, and it's going to be Torkelson unless Torkelson doesn't hit. So who plays third? They got a decision to make on Candelario. On November 18th, they have to have that decision made to offer him, arbitration or not. Likely to make, they think, north of $6.5 million for a year. I think I've given up on Jeimer Candelario.
I think I kind of have too.
So if you can find that left-handed hitting third baseman type or switch hitting third baseman type, okay, I'm listening. They have some guys they can put in there, but they're maybe all glove and no bat, which feels like it was the Tigers last year. And they have help on the horizon, but those guys are probably a couple years away. Your Colt Keiths and Isaac Pacheco's of the world. Those guys are probably a couple of years at least away. But Colt Keith has had a pretty nice fall from last I heard.
Did you just Pacheco? That wasn't the running back from Rutgers, right?
Same name, yeah.
Is it the same name?
Yeah.
Both Isaac Pacheco?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. There's two Isaac Pachecos. Yeah, none of these names really, I agree with you. I don't want a first base DH type. I don't want to take anything away from Spencer Torkelson. I feel like it would be like an Adam Frazier, somebody who's, he's a major leaguer, but nothing to get that excited about. I hope they can make the splash with an outfielder.
Unless they trade.
Yeah, well, they could trade.
Unless you trade for somebody like that.
Yeah, it's not just all free agency.
And that's probably maybe more of the possibility here.
Yeah. It strikes me that getting a right-handed outfield bat is something easier to do than a left-handed hitting infielder that fits the criteria that we're looking for.
That's correct. But really what they want to do is that he's trying to create an offense that's built around patience at the plate.
Yep.
Because the two guys that are definitely here in the middle infield are not patient at the plate. When you look at Baez and Scope, they just don't walk. And obviously Javi Baez has a problem chasing pitches, though he thinks he's got to figure it out again. We'll see. They need him to be good. But the rest of it, we saw great at bats from Riley Green. We know that Torkelson can work the count. It's everybody else. What's going to happen is Austin Meadows going to be back mentally enough? Is he got his mind right where he can play baseball again to the level that he played before? because he was a really good player when he was with Tampa Bay, and then just nothing. Offered the Tigers nothing.
Literally, he didn't hit a home run.
Yeah, which is just strange, but there's reasons behind that. So can he bounce back? If he bounces back, that's another guy you can count on for playing the style that Scott Harris wants.
Yeah, but what does that say? Because I know you're a Kerry Carpenter fan.
Yeah.
When he says something like right-handed bat, and you have Kerry Carpenter out there already, what do you think?
I want to give Kerry Carpenter a chance, but he's got to have a good spring to show that I can do this. He did enough for me last year to show that he gets a chance this year, but he's going to have to still prove through spring that he deserves to be on the roster, and then I give him the chance. But you got other guys too, Akil Baddoo, that he thinks he's bounced back, and I don't know if he has or hasn't. I've kind of moved onto a different plane than thinking he's the guy, and they have other outfielders that just never really worked out. So getting somebody in here, whether it's Nemo or Nimmo, that seems like it'd be a perfect fit, but you're going to have to pay for it.
Big fan.
And then you got to ask the question, are the Tigers willing to go out there and give somebody a $20 million a year contract for 4 or 5 years?